Prologue. 7th September, 1886. The rain pounding the windows did so with such force that it drowned out every single sound in the house. The grandfather clock in the downstairs hallway, the gramophone winding down from its latest tune, the creaking of the floorboards with every step, but the one sound that reverberated over even the harshest of weather battering the old house were the screams of Jacqueline Lynette. Her fingernails scraped along the polished dark wood of the floor, several fracturing or snapping down to the cuticle as she tried to gain some kind of leverage to push herself back up from where she had fallen. Behind her, the front door to the vast home was open, the rain bouncing through the entryway onto the floor inside, and also soaking the ornaments lining the shelves on the walls. Several awards for gardening challenges, family photographs including one of her wedding day, and a small plaque dedicated to their unborn child, Anthony, whose eyes never saw this world. Standing in the doorway blocking out the light from the porch was Edwin Lynette. His face was drenched, water droplets dripping from the end of his nose and filling his thick dark mustache. His thinning hair was now plastered to his scalp and forehead. His chest was heaving with exertion and rage, yet his face remained neutral. However, in his left hand was a long handle which stretched down at an angle, which was joined to the head of an old wood chopping axe, whose rusted tip sat on the floor. Jacqueline managed to claw her way to the banister running alongside the stairs which led to the first floor, and used those railings to pull herself up. She had left a trail of blood on the floor, which was becoming more and more diluted by the rain as each moment passed. Forgetful, briefly, that she had been on the floor due to her injury, she attempted to put her weight on both legs, but her left foot was no longer there. The pain seared through her entire body. The screams erupting from her throat, which itself sported thick red strangulation markings from an initial assault, were drowned out only by a well-timed crash of thunder outside. The lightning that followed it illuminated Edwin's grim visage, portraying him as a vengeful spirit in Jacqueline's eyes. It was only now that Jacqueline looked past her husband and saw her severed foot on the porch, still wearing one half of her favourite black shoes, next to a large split in the floor where it was removed by her husband just moments before. Edwin looked behind him, following her gaze, and his face broke into a blank stare for a moment, and he smiled at the sight of what he had done. By the time he looked back, he saw that Jacqueline had managed to hobble her way up the first 5 stairs. She knew if she made it to the first floor, there was a double lock on the master bedroom. How it would hold up against a hefty swing from her husband's axe, she did not know. But there was also a crucial item in that room, a telephone. The Lynette household was very fortunate to be one of the only homes in a 30-mile radius with such a device, and it had worked wonders for their business since being installed. Now, it would quite literally be her lifeline, if she could make it there. 2 heavy footsteps brought her attention back to her attacker. Edwin was now fully inside the house, and the scratching sound of the axe dragging along the floor sent bile rising in her throat. Still, she dragged herself upwards, occasionally banging the stump of her left leg, exploding her vision into stars and bright spots. Edwin did not appear to be in a rush, but he did not need to be. He was almost 7 feet in height, and his stride was one of significant distance. Those 2 steps had moved him from the front door to the base of the stairs, where he now stood watching his wife crest the top of the staircase. His head tilted to one side as he pondered just what had led to this moment. 1 week ago, his life had been one of wondrous happiness. He had taken on 2 new staff at his greengrocer shop in the high street. Such was the upturn in business, and his wife had been attending to every customer personally, even if just to make conversation. How had it come to this? Shaking his head, banishing the happier times, Edwin focused on the present. His wife was the reason for this course of action. It was she who had taken his respect and buried it in the ground. It was she who had embarrassed him in front of all their friends and peers, and it was she who had broken Edwin's mind. The door clicking shut upstairs brought Edwin back to reality, and he climbed the stairs 2 at a time,